Hey guys, and welcome back to Common Courtesy with Desire Some More. I'm here with some of my co-hosts, Ashley Williams. Ashley, say hi.
Hi.
I'm excited. She's new to the table. Welcome. And also new to the table, we have Nikki Prue.
Hey.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You good? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing
And welcoming back, we have Byron Baugh. How you been, Byron?
I've been good, thanks.
It's been a while. All right, let's get started. We're not going to start hot topics. We haven't been to the table in a while. Let's go through some things that we're going through. I have exciting news.
Oh.
Yes. I'm doing a show on May 25th at the Garage on Central, the Garage in St. Petersburg, Florida. Awesome. I can't wait for that because I've been really waiting for a chance to direct another show because I've studied musical theater and I have this piece that I've always wanted to do with like 4 girls, but I don't know, you just have this thing that you're not sure how you're going to do something until the opportunity falls in your lap. So there's going to be this musical number. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm very excited about it. Ashley, what's going on with you? You had finals, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
So I'm doing my last 2 finals today. I'm a psychology major. I graduate.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I'm figuring out all you bitches.
Oh my gosh.
Criminology minor. I graduate next spring, so it's almost over. Thank goodness.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Nikki, what's going on with you? Is there anything new?
No, I mean, being here is still kind of new. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary here next month.
In St. Petersburg, Florida, right?
In Florida in general, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just, I drove in last June from Massachusetts. So I've almost had a full year here, which is crazy. So I'm still kind of just absorbing all of that, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, and Byron, anything crazy in your life that you want to share with the audience?
Well, besides, when you have listened to this the weekend before the May 1st, the really great, premieres of, Endgame and Game of Thrones.
Oh,
season,
shit, yes.
With all that going on, that's the biggest thing in my life right now.
Yeah. Dude, I just watched Endgame last night, and I'm a very big comic book fan. I mean, this microphone's sitting on Fantastic Four. When I watched the movie, honestly, I love the Avengers because it's like all these people working together. Like, I think, what was the speech? It's like, and there came a day, unlike any other, where there was a villain no single hero could like withstand. Suddenly the Avengers were formed. When I watched the movie, I don't want to give too much away, but the ending, like, it was just crazy. If you love the Avengers and you're a very good comic book fan, you will love it because I don't want to give away the ending, and it's just really good. Captain Marvel.
How many times did you cry?
I didn't cry at all.
I'll probably cry through the whole thing.
You cried?
All right, I definitely did.
With Hawk right in the first scene, like it had me in the instant.
Wow.
His daughter.
Well, his whole family.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, it's the first scene.
Man.
That's not the biggest spoiler.
All right.
Anyways. Oh, also, I just want to say, did anyone catch the chilling adventures of Sabrina? Is anyone watching that?
I haven't yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, you seen it? You've seen the second season?
Oh, not the second season. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, the first season's really good.
Okay.
Second season's even better.
Really cool.
Yeah, no, dude. What I really liked about Avengers and that show is the women empowerment. Like, there's this one scene, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, that was so cool.
I was like, all the girls, oh shit, it was so good. Okay, anyways. All right, let's jump.
I feel so lost right
I was
now.
just going to say that I'm left out.
I'm sorry, the girls.
It's okay.
All right, so let's jump into hot topics today, and this is not gonna be a fun one because I just saw this online. I think it was this guy in Texas, was it?
I think
it was Texas. He's a 26-year-old bus driver named Shane. We're gonna say Shane Pitch, whatever. I don't know how to say his last name, but he just admitted to raping this 14-year-old girl because he met her while he was a bus driver, and he admitted to raping her, and it was the charge was like a 3rd degree.
They call
rape.
it a 3rd degree rape, which I actually meant to look up exactly. The fact that there's levels just kills me in general.
3rd degree rape is statutory rape, I think.
Okay, that sounds like, that's kind of what I figured. I didn't know the exact, but and because of that, he doesn't even have to be registered in an online database.
Yeah, but what they gave him was like 10 years of probation,
Mm-hmm.
and which And he's also not going to be in like the sex offenders database, so you won't even know he's living next door. And they also just said he can just not be around someone who's 17. So like we're gonna like go off some reactions. I'm gonna start with Ashley.
First of all, the girl was 14.
Okay, Nikki.
So sorry,
We're gonna start with Nikki.
First of all, the girl was 14. Why can't he be around? Why? How about just children in general? He can't be around. Why does it stop at 17?
Right, exactly. Well, they said that he was a low risk of recommitting his crime, which is crazy. Did you see a picture of him? Oh wait, Ashley.
I was gonna say no. This is something that I'm passionate about. Like, oh yeah. First of all, disgusting. So as someone who studies criminal behavior, pedophiles have a 90% recidivism rate.
Right.
That means 90% chance of recommitting. So for them to sit here and say that, oh, he's low risk of doing it again, which if it's like a statutory rape charge, he probably thinks that it was consensual, which of course there's no way for it to be consensual, but he thinks that. So what would stop him from doing it again, especially with those statistics?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So there's something in your brain that's going to make you do that once.
Exactly, and it is. It's a mental, I mean, their brains are wired differently than ours.
Exactly, and honestly, I'm just going to say this, like, sorry, we need to go to Byron.
Well, I mean, it's about him not seeing these victims as victims, like when he's like putting himself into that situation, and like that must be, you know, like severely punished. And this seems like a summer burst.
Because he probably thought they were like in love.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of which, it's kind of like this people were saying about Michael Jackson. I just kind of just hearing you guys talking about it reminds me of Finding Neverland, and they were like, he said to them like, oh, we're in love, we're in things like that. That's wrong, because these kids are minors and they don't have. I mean, I'm not a psychology major, but they don't have. When you're young, you don't have the mental capacity of making these types of decisions. You know, like even like I just turned 30 last year. I still don't think I have the capacity. I still don't have it. No, I'm kidding. It just took me a long time to get to a place where I'm comfortable with myself. You know, like even coming out as gay. Like I didn't come out to my parents till I was 20, and when I moved to New York, I learned to be tough. But back on topic. I forgot where I was going. Someone save me.
Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland. I just kind of find that, like, you know, these kids. Oh, here's how I was going. This is a white man that did this. Now, if it was a black dude, let's be honest, they would be hanging his ass up on the damn tree outside.
Yeah.
And I don't understand where we have all this, like, social media. Television. Where is the outrage? Where is the why aren't we out on the street right now protesting? You know, I see it always happen. Like this happened to this girl, the girl in Baylor. You remember that story? The girl
is this the Brock Turner case?
I think so. Was she?
Oh.
I don't know. There were like two different. There have been so many instances.
Well, that's
of this.
because people have become desensitized. Like as a society, so it's just
and
one case after another.
But see, that's crazy. Like, why?
It is.
That's an actual crime. Like, taking advantage of another human being is an actual crime. Like, I think we're referring. There's two cases. I think the Stanford case.
I think so. And then the Baylor one was the 19-year-old that he left out to die.
Yeah,
essentially.
That one too.
Yes.
Well, even that was even worse.
Yes.
I'm like, and they didn't give that boy anything. Like, did he spend any jail time or?
I think it might have been 6 months or something. If he did it was nothing.
That ain't shit. Because it's almost attempted murder. If you left her out to die, if you think about it.
It absolutely was attempted murder. He knew. He had the intention that she was going to die that day, and he got 6 months. I mean, money,
I don't know. I feel like that's why I'm like, everyone, I want people to get out there and vote. You know, I have people in my family, my brother, and friends of mine, they're like, oh, it doesn't really mean anything. No.
If everybody said that, though, it would mean something. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not just a couple of people not voting, it's a large chunk of them, and that's why nothing's getting done. Because there's enough people that say, well, it doesn't matter if I vote.
Right, and it's kind of like I'm getting tired of, like, you know, like, when we're doing the Judge Kavanaugh case, we can talk about this all night. Judge Kavanaugh, like, I was watching The View. Joy Behar's like, you have all these old white men telling this white dude, like, they're going to protect him. Let's be honest, like, this has been going on for years. And especially with the Me Too movement. One thing I don't like about that shit is, like, Harvey Weinstein has not seen any jail time, but somehow fucking Bill Cosby did this shit back in the 70s. This dude is like 78, but he's in jail. Why isn't Weinstein?
I didn't even think about that.
There's a difference there. Like, I mean, I don't know anybody myself. I've been maybe a little bit too privileged in my life, but the activist I was reading from when I was researching the story, Sean King, like he's got friends that were like he was friends with in high school that are serving 5 years for simple possession charges or like of a non-violent crime, and this guy victimized a child, and he doesn't do this. He doesn't get anything.
Nothing.
Another offshoot of this is people wonder that, I mean, especially with the Me Too movement, you see like they'll be like, oh, well, why didn't you come forward sooner? Why didn't you do anything? Me personally, I didn't tell anyone about my assault for 5 years after it happened because of stuff like this. And once I told someone, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. So how are you going to sit here and ask, why won't you say anything when this is the result?
Done. Like, honestly, even I have this case going on right now and I want to talk about it. But I feel like if I did, it's like they're going to be like, well, you're just saying that because you're trying to get off on something. You're trying to make it look like you are a victim when actually you are. I am a victim, but I'm not, I'm bringing it up here on the show, but in the case, I want to tell my lawyer and say, like, this happened, but they're going to say, where's the proof, where's the evidence? I remember Sunny Hostin. I watch The View every day. Sunny Hostin's like, usually in these cases like this, you don't really need that much evidence, Who's out there making this shit up? I mean, people do. People have done it.
People do, and it makes me enraged when people do that because it screws over the people who it actually has happened to and makes them less believable. And it's sad. But it doesn't, it's just something that needs to be fixed. And
it's a trickle-down effect. All right, anyway, so let's jump off that topic.
On that happy note,
moving on.
So we're going to move on to this next topic, and I am going to let Ashley jump in because I did not know she was a psychology major, which I think it's very interesting because I studied psychology, just not as much as you are, but I just did it for
I'm such a
School.
nerd.
Yeah.
I'm all psychology all the time. I do want to throw in a little bit of self-promotion too, since this ties in with the topic.
Get in.
I have a YouTube channel called Sex with Ashley Renee, where I talk about sexuality topics, everything from communication to sex techniques. So if you want to check that out.
I'm going to check it out today. I didn't know.
So this topic, I do want to start by saying, is everyone here familiar with the Kinsey scale?
Yes.
And what that is? Okay, so just for the listeners, it's a scale that determines how gay you are, essentially, on a 0 to 6 scale, 6 being extremely homosexual, 0 being extremely heterosexual. So what's interesting about the Kinsey scale is that his results found that most people fall within a bisexual range. It is extremely rare to be 100% straight or 100% gay. And I'll wrap this all up really quick. I get really excited.
Girl, get in. We got time.
Okay.
It's good backgrounds.
Yeah, because the background is what makes this.
Yeah.
So we need to start by defining what is sexuality. A lot of people think that sexuality is just a physical level, like, oh, that's who I want to have sex with.
That's not what I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No.
No, go.
Okay. So sexuality also exists on emotional terms. It's the mental connection that you have with someone at an intelligence level. So with that being said, you could make the argument that everyone is a little gay and vice versa, everyone's a little straight. Because if you're having girl crushes or bromances, or even like I consider myself homo-flexible, but I still have like best friends who are men. So that makes me a little bit more on the straight side.
So wait, homo-flexible meaning what?
Meaning I'm mostly attracted to women, but there are instances where I hook up with men. But for the most part, yeah. So, yeah, I guess with that being said, do you all think sexuality is fluid? Do you think that your technical sexuality, which is probably not 100% gay or 100% straight, do you think that's different from what you label yourself as?
Let's go to Nikki first.
I was thinking earlier when you asked that, I'm like, I don't remember the last time somebody asked me actually about my sexuality, because it always it's not something I've ever thought of because it always has been something that's been pretty fluid for me in some ways. I met one of my best friends because I had a crush on her then girlfriend. And it was like my first girl crush ever. And I just adored this girl. Long story short, they were on the rocks. Just like in any situation like that, I was lied to and told they broke up. I ended up hooking up with her girlfriend. She found out.
Whoa. It
was a huge mess. And then later we all became best friends. And I went on vacation with them and whatever happened. And it was just like they were like these people that I had probably my most experimentation with. And then years later, I ended up being the girl who hated me originally is now one of my best friends. And for years, I would get drunk and we would hook up every time I would get drunk. She would push it. She would push it every time. And she would, oh, come on. Come on. And I would get to the point where before we would drink, I would be like, it is not going to, don't try it tonight because it's not going to happen.
And then it does.
And then it would happen. And then finally, I don't know when it actually stopped happening, but finally I was like, listen, this is just, I feel weird about it the day after. Like, this isn't really, it's not, like, I'm not mad about it, but it was one of those things where, like, but obviously some part of my mind wanted to do it. And, like, I think I've always been just a sexual person in general. Like, I danced for a while. I was telling Sean I did, like, bondage modeling for a while. So I had, like, a lot.
I want to see that.
It's, I would love to too. I had a flash drive for years with a bunch of my pictures and God knows where it went. I have no idea. But it was interesting and it was a really interesting experience. And I think I learned a lot about myself. And I think that's probably why I've never thought about it before because it is a fluid thing for me. I mean, like, I have a boyfriend. I live with my boyfriend and I know that, like, I want to be with him and that's it. And I'm not interested in anything else. But that's just because I think, like, he's the one I want to be with right now. It could have been any person. And there's definitely, I feel like there's always gray area. Like, I just feel like that goes without saying.
Right. I'm going to jump in on that because, like, when I moved to New York, I was working as, I want to say cocktail server / go-go boy. And I would wear scantily clad clothes. I would wear, like, scantily clad clothes, like little crop top like I'm wearing right now. Some of those shorts. And I found it funny that women were actually attracted to me. Because when I was growing up, they were like, oh, you're ugly, whatever, whatnot. I'm like, okay, I know, right? You're surprised.
Thank
you.
I'm attracted to you, Sean.
Thank you. Good Lord. I knew they were just jealous.
Exactly.
But no, I was very surprised that women are still attracted to me. And it's very it's not weird to me. It's honestly, I act like straight men act when gay men hit on them. They're like, whoa, no homo. But no hetero. Excuse me, thank you. I mean, I'm comfortable with women. I've made out with girls before, but it's never gone past that. And that's what I was saying earlier in the meeting. My favorite musical, A Chorus Line, when Greg was making out with the girl in the backseat of a car, and she goes, ooh, don't you want to feel anything else? And he's like, no, I don't. And that's me. Like, I will say, like, me and my friend Lauren, I don't want to say her name. Fuck it, I said it. Me and my friend Lauren, we did hook up with this guy, but it was just me. I felt like it was just me and her trying to, like, get with him, but for our own needs, but we were just making out with each other just to, like, get it started. But I didn't touch any titties, nothing. Well, no. I'm like, don't touch me anything. Don't touch me there. But I do agree with you because I've seen a lot. Like, when you move to the city, you meet a lot of fucking people. You're in a lot of different situations where you do run into, like, married men who every now and again, either they have a secret life or they just have gay tendencies. And I have a friend that I met recently, he's bi. And every now and again, we hook up. That's fine. But I also know that you're right. It's not just sexual. It's an emotional type aspect. And that's what I studied. I studied human sexuality as well. Because I learned that bisexuality is the actual real thing. Because people will say, oh, that's not real. Or all these other, like, things, pansexual, things like that. But I found that very interesting because what it said was that it's not only just having the sexual, physical attraction towards someone, it's also having that emotional aspect in it. And I, for one, I can't be in love with women like that. I can't. I mean, not that. I mean, I love you girls. We'll be friends forever.
Okay.
But I just don't.
It's not on a sexual level.
Not on a sexual level. Just emotionally,
sexual.
yeah. But like,
the whole balloon of that, it has to be the whole package for you to be in love with someone. I feel like, and
right, exactly.
That's where you kind of the distinction.
Draw the line a little.
I want to play like devil's
kind of
advocate real quick. So
Let's get it.
You're saying that you have an emotional connection with us. That would mean, by technical terms, you are not 100% gay.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't say that. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm not saying that because I see what you mean.
People get really pissed off whenever I tell them you're not 100% straight or you're not 100% gay.
No, I will say. Oh no. Okay, I will say.
Thing.
You know, I do find women attractive. Like if I see a hot girl come in like makeup, whatever. I'm like, I see the beauty of it.
Same.
But I don't get like a reaction down.
Yeah.
I don't get a reaction, you know. Like I'm like, ooh, you have like great, you know, breasts. You have a great ass. You know, you have a great body. I appreciate it, but there's something more about a man. Like, you know, I can't tell you. I can tell you, but this is my show. I'm kidding. I love men. You know, I love hairy chest. You know, I love the masculinity of it, and also like the scent, and the smell. Like studying as an actor, they really get you into those things. Like you don't just act with your mouth or your mind. You act with your whole body and all your senses. So I'm just gonna let that stay there. I'm gonna go to Byron next.
I have a question. So like, there's this political aspect to this, of course. We've been talking about the science. How do I put this? Do you think that we're going in the right direction by like celebrating people that are well, I think we are going in the right direction now, celebrating people in the middle, like that aren't tending towards either one side or the other. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, as long as we keep uplifting these groups, maybe we are.
I don't understand your question.
Are we all going to feel more comfortable with the idea of bisexuality, and like maybe we can just remove, you know, any political talk about like what you classify yourself as eventually? I'm thinking that.
I think that anyone who strongly is pushing, there's always going to be people who are going to strongly push against it and just want things to be black and white. But I think you're kind of right. I think the more that like you buoy those things up and tell people it is okay to be you, even if it's something that's not defined, the more that comes out, I feel like the more society on a whole would become.
And also, like, we have Ashley here, and Ashley, I love the fact that she brought this up, and like literally I'm like, wow, I know a little bit of the same thing that you do. I think education is key, because oftentimes as human beings, when we're ignorant of something, we're afraid of it. Right. And a lot of people, like my friends, will say, you know, they don't believe in bisexuality because they don't understand it.
Right.
I feel like they understood it. They could really they can really see where someone else is coming from. But we didn't really get anything from Byron before we go to our next topic. We're gonna let Byron close this out, and then Ashley's gonna put a button on it. Okay?
You hit on all my points. Yeah, you kind of put it in a pretty early.
Well, do you have any any experiences or things like that?
No experiences. Anything besides you know cisgendered straight male, I suppose. And you know, I'm certain. Actually, I tend to be a little wishy-washy on end of my statements, anyways. But I completely see where y'all are coming from. I guess I'm going to be a little boring here. No one needs to hear another story of a. We're not
going to get a complete answer from you. But anyways, let's put a button on this, Ashley, and.
Yeah, I think that just what we learned here is we're all gay. So, woo! We're all going to Pride this year. What up?
I've been for the last 5.
Oh, you know what? I can't divulge that yet. Anyways, no. Okay,
next topic.
Yeah.
I'm liking that sound.
All right, so the next topic I wanted to kind of jump in on. I wish my friend Allison was here because she's the one that really pointed this out. It's something called whitewashing in Hollywood and also Broadway as well. This is where, like, if you have, like, let's say we had the movie, this is one resonates with me because I just watched The Avengers, and I was kind of pissed that Tilda Swinton was still playing the Ancient One, who is a character in the comic book. The literature states that this character is from the Himalayas. She's a monk, or he was actually a male character. But this says nothing that she's a white man. And that could have been played by Michelle Yeoh, you know, like she's a famous Asian actress. So there's this thing called whitewashing, and I remember when I was studying theater back in high school, my best friend Allison, that's why I said I wish she was here. We did this show, The Civil War, and basically we all know what that Civil War is about. It's about white people and black people, and they're gonna have white people and black people in it because there's the North and South fighting basically over slavery and things like that. Allison is she's half Korean, half Jewish, and she was not cast. And I found that odd because she has one of the most amazing, when I tell you this hoe can sing, she can sing anything. Gospel, musical theater, opera, pop,
so
rock.
Have that range.
She's everything. And the teacher told her that she looked too exotic on stage, which I thought that was kind of, I was telling you guys the story earlier, but just tell the audience. That was the wrong thing to say to this girl because you're telling her she's a young girl, hopeful, trying to get, she wants to go on Broadway, and you're already right there you're telling her, you can't do that. Oh, you can't be in this show because of this reason. I find that crazy because I saw the same thing in myself because I really stopped going and looking towards a Broadway career because I'm seeing how limited it is. Because when I was I had a little casting profile. The only things I would get called for is drug dealer, gangster, and you all know me. I have none of those characteristics naturally within me as I speak to you now. I'm not like that. But I really wanted to be in the chorus line, and then the only character I could have been in that show was Richie, and he's like I said, he's a tenor, and I'm not a tenor. I'm a baritone. I can hit some high notes, but I don't have the quality of what he can do. I can dance, whatever. But this has been going on, and just the last couple of years is still going on. Let's say Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, when he was that Asian guy. I can't remember the character's name, but he was you guys ever seen the movie?
Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yeah. It was very, his character was an Asian man, but it was very racist because it's just about all this, it was his actions was based on stereotypes. Thank you. And I'm just wrap this up really fast so we can get everyone else's opinion. And there's also, I think, the show on Netflix, Death Note. The character's a little white boy, but this is this is the anime. This is a Japanese Japanese cultural thing, and even Ghost in the Shell when they had Scarlett Johansson, she played the lead role. I'm like, well, now why can't we find some other people to play these roles? So I'm gonna go to Byron first, and then we're gonna go around the table and see I don't know, your opinion, what you've seen, your experience.
My first thought about the anecdote with your classmate, what was her name again?
Allison,
yeah. I think it's on, us to be pushing for more inclusive stories in general. I'm not really looking for another Civil War. It might be a great show, but I could find more interest in an automatically more inclusive cast, something that is worthwhile. Like
Hamilton.
Right.
Hamilton got so big because everybody's in it, or Rent too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I guess that's the reason why those things are so big.
There's a lot to be said about this. I think there have been significant strides in media lately to challenge this, and of course pushback as well. But we all know we should just ignore those guys. But I'm proud of the strides we've made. Audience, just ignore anybody that's why isn't this person white? The show says they're supposed to be white. Just screw that.
Right. Because I said, when I was in studying acting, it didn't really matter. It just mattered if you could sing the role, if you can do the part, you're that character. When I was studying acting, they would give you scripts from let's say, what's that show that Matthew Broderick was very famous for on Broadway?
I don't even know who
oh God, I can't think of it. Can't think of it right now. Matthew Broderick, he was in Broadway Bound, Biloxi Blues, and oh my God, Brighton Beach Memoirs. I can't remember what that trilogy is called, but they are a Jewish family, and I've done scenes from those shows, and I'm like, well, okay, so it's okay for learning and acting, but we can't take it professionally. You know what I mean? I understand But I understand. I'm not Jewish. I don't know the culture. But anyways, let's go to Nikki.
I mean, I feel like there's always going to be some of that there. Like with, I don't know. I want to say it's gotten better over the years, over the past few decades. But I mean, obviously it hasn't. But when you brought up that whole thing about Broadway, I honestly didn't. It's not something I really actively thought of. I didn't think about the fact that people would have an issue with that just because you're not the right color or race or whatever it is. I feel like if it's acting, you're being someone else anyway. Right. And if the story is good enough, you're going to follow it regardless. So I feel like it's more interesting when you let people play what their strengths are, and somebody's going to work hard to play a part. It shouldn't matter if they've nailed it. I feel like in this day and age, that's such a silly thing to not pay attention to, to if you're going to make that movie Aloha, if you're going to make a movie about a certain culture.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a quote they asked Sony for a comment or something. They said, while some have been quick to judge a movie they haven't seen or a script they haven't read, the film respectfully showcases the spirit of the Hawaiian people. But there aren't any Hawaiian people in it. So I'm like, how does that capture the spirit of it when you don't? Part of the spirit of that is if it's an entire culture like that, if you want to know what they look like, what that culture looks like, and part of what that looks like. I'm not saying they all need to look like what you would picture as like a Hawaiian face or even Asian, but I mean, they could have at least slid some in there just to showcase the culture. Yes, it's gonna. I
was gonna say the same thing.
It's gonna take a deeper root.
There's gonna be cultural mannerisms, idiosyncrasies that these actors are gonna bring to their part.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I was looking for that I couldn't say.
Let's get a little word from our psychologist here. I'm excited. I forgot that you told me that.
I just wanted to throw some pushback to
Let's
Nikki.
Do it.
So whenever you were saying that if an actor can bring that spirit to a caricature and it doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter what they look like. Well, couldn't the same be said for whitewashing? You
are 100% right. Like, yeah, that argument could definitely be made. I just feel like it needs to kind of go more both ways. If they're going to do that and they want certain characters in certain roles, it should be allowed to go both. It shouldn't just be so black and white, because it seems like it's, and it isn't always.
I mean, just to say that, because I heard what she had just said, and immediately I knew what we were gonna say. But at the same time, there are a lot of roles on Broadway or even movies that aren't race specific or culture specific, still being played by a white person. Or let's say Allison was telling me, she's like, I saw a local production of The King and I with a white dude playing the king. We all know The King and I is about like he's a Siamese king, mm-hmm. with the only white person in the show is Anna.
Yeah.
That's what makes it. That's the point. And it's like, what the. Y'all can think of another show to do. Like, I have to tiptoe around different shows or material to like find something that's believable to like a casting director. Yet these hoes over here, let me just put some yellow makeup on my face. Or you know what? I forgot to say this. My grandmother watches Westerns. She loves Westerns. I'm like, Grandma, how do you watch this? Those Indians are played by white people in makeup. I was just watching the other day, like last year I moved back, and I'm watching this. I'm like, I never noticed it until I'm like, wait, hold on. There is no way, because back then there was racism was a very big thing. So you can't tell me they're gonna have Indian people or Puerto Rican people on television. Yeah. No, they were in makeup. Yeah, so how are you gonna say? So even what you just said, well, girl, can we get some like reparations back, like some roles back, because. Damn.
So you're actually about to touch on something that I wanted to bring up, is that like the scales are so disproportionately balanced to white people getting the roles that they want, and anybody else getting questioned for that role. Like there's the Bechdel test, right?
I'm not familiar.
It's the woman's role in a movie test. Like if it's only focused on a man, or like if that's like all she talks about, and it's crazy the proportion, like. Characters like 65% of the time are like just like there to be an addition to the man's character, essentially.
Right.
It's
Wow.
crazy.
Well, that's how comic books. We're gonna wrap this show up real fast. I'm in a minute. Ashley, did we get to you with everything?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point out that's why movies like Crazy Rich Asians are so vital. People were like, oh, what's the big deal? The big deal is that here's representation.
Yeah.
Right.
That is so
Visibility.
lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows other people, that shows Hollywood, yes, you can have a movie that stars entire minorities and it still be a blockbuster.
Like Black Panther was actually pretty good, and that was another example of last year. I was going to say that.
Get Out, Us.
Yes, I haven't
Amazing.
seen Us.
Oh,
Is
it's
that
so good. It's so good. I love it. It was great.
Okay, so I haven't covered a lot of things today. That was a fun.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Yes.
I'm ready for the next one.
Next
Woo!
one. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna leave you guys. Let's leave these people with something positive to think about. I'm gonna start with Ashley because I had to work on something. Something positive to think about. Well, actually, you know what? What we were just saying is this: visibility. I've been reading comic books for years. And this comic book is from like the 60s and it's in black and white. I've noticed how they've made the women less powerful. Please, I urge you, go see the Avengers, watch Sabrina. These are showing women in power. They're like, there's a scene in the Avengers, you gotta see it. It was so good that I was like, hell yeah, let's fuck some shit up. So we are right. Even though there's these issues going on in our world, there is some good things still happening. You know, like we have Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg.
What?
Buttigieg. Who's the guy? The mayor.
Oh yeah.
The gay mayor that's running for president. For one of the first openly gay candidates. And he's actually a viable candidate as well. Like he's more qualified than you know who in the office. And anyone else want to say something positive before we sign on off?
I pet all the dogs you can. I'm about to go pet Sean's dog right now. That's really positive.
If you got a prescription in the state of Florida, Jimmy Buffett's got a new strain that sounds really fun.
That is good.
What are some examples? You mentioned some. They're hilarious. Sorry, real quick.
So like the strains like have like
I have to hear
classifications of like high tide. Like one of the strains is called, or one of the mixtures is called surfing in a hurricane. That one sounds like a little miserable.
That was like fucked up. Like I don't think I would driving that. All right, that sounds fun. I'm gonna try those. Nikki, anything?
Obviously, I second what Ashley said about the dogs, and I feel like. Just try to appreciate where you are in the moment that you're in, because I feel like myself anyway, I have a hard time with that. And just be happy and appreciate what you got going on.
Be you. All right, guys. That's the show today. Again, I'm Desire Some More with Ashley Renee. We have Nikki Prue and we have Byron Baugh. And that was Common Courtesy. We'll see you again.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.